Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is the American Music Fan coming at you with my fifth Beatles review. I have already reviewed Please Please Me through Beatles for Sale and the Beatles stereo box set. In case you want to check those out, they're up on my channel. Um, the box set will be under Box Sets playlist, and the Beatles ones will be under Beatles reviews. Okay, so right now, though, if you want to check those out, cool, but you're obviously here to watch my review of the Beatles' Help. This album was released in August of 1965. It was the soundtrack to their hit film, which is my favorite Beatles film. It is, in my mind, the funniest and overall just the best. Here first, I will give you just the kind of the overall of the package here, as I didn't in the box set review. As you can see, it has the little Parlophone disc. Kind of doing this with one hand, so it's kind of tricky, but you know, it's alright. I'm going to switch hands actually, so I can show you the book properly. So basically, a little overall of the film is that Ringo Starr, for those of you who don't know, obviously in real life, Ringo Starr likes rings. That's why they call him Ringo. So obviously, his real name's Richard Starkey. But, so Ringo puts on this ancient Indian crazy big ring with this very outlandishly sized gem on it. And these Indian people, want it back from him. And he's willing to give it back, but the problem is that he can't get it off. Neither can the rest of the Beatles, and that causes a problem. So that sends them on an adventure to get the ring off, give it back to the people, and not be murdered by them. The movie has some good moments. When they're sledding in the mountains, that's really funny and good. It is in my mind the funniest and the best Beatles movie. And the album is my second favorite Beatles album. I have to say it is. I mean, I just have to. It's hard for me to pick a favorite and a second favorite and a third and fourth and fifth and put them all in order, but if I had to, I'd put this as number 2. And yeah, I'm going to get into the album now, the track list. Like I said, this came out in August of 65, so the Beatles were starting to kind of come out of their simple songs. They're starting to get into more complicated and lyrically better songs when they became great. There's the pictures of the guys there, Ringo, John, Paul, and George. So the album opens with Help. And this song features one of the best harmonies from Lennon and McCartney of any Beatles song. I'm sorry I'm a bad singer, but I just kind of want to give you an example. If you haven't heard it, you probably have, but if you haven't, so Paul will start a phrase off with the first word, and then John will carry it through the next. So it'll be like, the first verse, however, is like Paul goes, when, and then John goes, when I was younger, so much younger than today. Like that. So, sorry about my horrible singing. Just don't leave any nasty comments or anything, because that'd be mean. So, yeah, just great harmonies there. Great song. Next is The Night Before, which I think it's maybe about like a one-night stand or something, and she was nice and now she's not, and it's just kind of about, I'll remember you, how you were that night, because the things we did makes me want to cry, which is kind of very cryptic there. Okay, so next we have You've Got to Hide Your Love Away. Now this is a very heartfelt John Lennon song, and it has to be my second favorite vocal by John Lennon. My favorite vocal by him is either Imagine or A Day in the Life, but You've Got to Hide Your Love Away is just great. You know, it has really deep lyrics, and like, I don't know, I think that's really John's masterpiece from this. Next one is I Need You, which is another one of my favorite Beatles songs. I don't know, there's really not a whole lot I can say about I Need You other than it's just great. Another Girl is really good. It's Paul singing about how he's found another girl and he wants her instead of the one he has and stuff. You're Gonna Lose That Girl is about a guy who was kind of not being the best boyfriend and now John Lennon's gonna take her away from whoever is dating her, I guess. Ticket to Ride is one of the vintage classic Beatles songs that we all know and love. Um, that's the one when on the bobsleds in the mountains and the snow, which is really funny and a good sequence in the movie. And it's a good song. Ticket to Ride. The only reason why I have heard this album a lot. Like, many songs on here, like Help, You're Gonna Lose That Girl, Ticket to Ride, I've Just Seen a Face, and Yesterday, and You've Gotta Hide Your Love Away. Those were my favorite Beatles songs for a long time. So I've heard those in this album a lot. so, um, speaking from the first time I've heard them, I loved Ticket to Ride. I thought it was really a great song. It's about obviously a girl who can leave at any time, but she doesn't. Um, and yeah, so anyway, great song. Next is Act Naturally, which actually sung by Ringo. It's a cover of somebody else's song, but it's probably my favorite Ringo vocal. I mean, I really like this song. Um, he's singing about how he's a sad and lonely man, and he's going to make a movie. They're going to make a big star out of me. And that, I can't even get as low as Ringo. Holy crap. but, so it's just about a guy who doesn't even have to act because they're making a movie about a guy who's sad and lonely, and all he has to do is act naturally. So, it's probably one of my favorite Ringo songs. He does a really good job on it. It's Only Love is pretty good. Um, it these two, It's Only Love and You Like Me Too Much, they kind of fall short, I think, of the rest of the album, just because the rest of the album has some of their best known work, some of their, best work in my mind, and, I just think that It's Only Love and You Like Me Too Much just kind of fall a little bit short of that. They're good, don't get me wrong, they're better than just about every other song. I mean, I think the Beatles songs are better. I mean, everyone except Revolution 9, which is. But, every other one, I believe they're pretty much just all masterpieces. But I just think that these two. I mean, when you take these two and compare it to You've Gotta Hide Your Love Away, Help, Ticket to Ride, I Need You, they just kind of fall a little bit short. Next, you have Tell Me What You See, which I always joke to my friends who have watched that stupid Paul Really Is Dead, The Last Testament of George Harrison. I always joke to my friends about it, and I say, oh yeah, well, if, being that this movie is so bad at remembering dates and times that things happened and were released, this is a song saying that I'm not dead, because he's saying, it's no surprise what you see is me, tell me what you see. I like this song. This kind of reminds me of like a kind of a jammier song, actually. Just I love the way the vocals go in the very beginning, like when you it goes down and up, high and low, and I just like the way that is. I love the instruments on here. Boom, 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 boom. Like it's just really good. Really good song. I believe that this is an overlooked song. And one thing I always say is I would love to hear Paul McCartney play that song now, live. I believe that the vocals on this are by George and Paul. I might be mistaken, but I think it is George and Paul. Next we have I've Just Seen a Face, which is in my top 5 Paul songs. It's great. It tells a very good story about Paul and, how he's seen this girl. He can't stop thinking about her. He's dreaming about her. All of that. He keeps, falling for her and all that. It tells a really good story. Like, I was reading a Paul McCartney biography and it brought up a good point about how had it been another day, I might have looked the other way and I'd have never been aware, but as it is, I'll dream of her tonight. I mean, those are some of the Beatles' some of their best lyrics, I think. It's just a really good song. I love it. I just love the instruments in it too. The dum dum. That's just great. That's probably my favorite on the album. Next, we have Paul McCartney's legendary song that he woke up with in his head, as the story goes, yesterday. I've heard that song so many times. I'm kind of sick of it, but yet still a great song. He played it for people in '64. They didn't like it very much because he had it under the name Scrambled Eggs, so, you know, if I were then too, I probably wouldn't. Then we have the closer on the album, Dizzy Miss Lizzy, which in my mind is just a classic 60s rocker. I mean, it's nothing too spectacular, but I still love it. Okay, so that is the Beatles' Help. I give it a 4.5 out of 5, and that is on my Beatles scale, because the Beatles albums are always great, so that's on my Beatles. As far as the Beatles albums go, give it 4.5. Next time on my review show, we'll be doing the review of my favorite Beatles album, Rubber Soul. So, yep, come back for that if you want, and I hope you enjoyed it. So keep on rocking, guys. Goodbye.